My t-shirt says don't be a on it, which is a very suitable thing to say given what today's video is about. Yeah. Hey Spuds, how's it going? It's Jamie. I forgot my own intro. What do I say? Welcome back to another video, your first video on the channel. I don't know, but welcome either way. There we go, got there in the end. And today we are looking at transphobes. I cannot speak. Specifically, transphobes not being okay. Like really just not being okay. Saying things that make zero sense. And I can't even find most of it offensive because I'm just like, literally, what are you trying to say? You're just ranting into a void and you're not saying anything logical. And I feel like I'm not really either. So I'm just going to get on with the video and go through these not okay transphobes. Yay. These flags and signs on shop doors are not simple signals of welcome. What they say is if you are a sex realist, you are not welcome here. You are a second-class citizen. You should feel uncomfortable and on edge. What are these signs? What are these flags? I hear you asking. Why has this person been made to feel so unwelcome and uncomfortable? This shop is for you, me, him, her, they, them. When we include everyone, we can overcome poverty. Oxfam. Everyone is highlighted there. Everyone. Is it because they don't like the progress flag? Do they not like the neutral pronouns? I don't know. I mean, this person is a gender critical transphobe who tweeted this. So basically they're getting butt hurt because everybody's being included and that makes them not feel included. Okay, that makes sense. You just don't like trans people. Everywhere I go, I see women with no butts, big shoulders and brow ridges. Men with big butts, sloping shoulders, and pretty eyes. Oh, those men with pretty eyes. Real men and women seem scarce. And did they literally take photos of strangers in a coffee shop and draw lines on them to try and highlight this absolutely ludicrous theory? They do realise that unlike the guy, the line is just not drawn accurately at all. And unlike the girl, the line is too short because they stop where her bag is, not where. Regardless of the accuracy of their line drawing, why are they doing this in the first place? This is creepy. This is very strange. Like, don't do this. So apparently real men have no butts, not pretty eyes, perfectly straight shoulders, I'm assuming brow ridges, and real women have big butts, sloping shoulders and pretty eyes. There you go. You're not a real woman unless you have pretty eyes. How strange. Stop teaching kids pronouns and start teaching them grammar. Does this person realise that they themselves used pronouns in this tweet? Being a woman is not a hate crime. Why? Why do people even think this? And like, in relation to the trans community and inclusive language, why do some transphobic people make this leap? Being transgender is, in fact, biological. You can't make it go away. That is not from the transphobic person. Yes, you can. 85% of the time it goes away by age 19. Source: Jordan Peterson. That's your source. I think a more reliable source would have been ketchup. I don't know what they're talking about. I feel like maybe they're getting at the whole persistent gender dysphoria through childhood into adulthood thing, but there's many things that have disproved that the number was greatly over-exaggerated and there was a clear difference between the kids who persisted and the kids who desisted, and actually of those who were trans kids, the desistance rate is like not 85%. You'll do realise that the end goal of the trans rights movement is mandatory bisexuality for everyone, the total erasure of women, and the denial of biological reality. There's definitely some denial of reality going on in this tweet. Yes, trans people want mandatory bisexuality. You must all have clear phone cases, tuck in your t-shirts, and not know how to sit in chairs. That is an absolute must. The total erasure of women. Yeah, that's why trans women are seen as women among trans people and trans allies, because we want to erase women. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? And denial of biological reality. I don't understand what's being denied. I don't. Transphobes are exhaustingly annoying. Testosterone has an antidepressant effect. Estrogen has a calming effect. You aren't gender euphoric, you're on drugs. I mean, that's not just for trans people though. If you believe that this is true, and you think this is true of hormones like testosterone and estrogen, everybody has testosterone and estrogen in their system. Everyone. So you think everybody is on drugs. Okay. I'm glad this is now declared. It's more honest. At least two other high-profile people, both very fond of the word transphobia have undeclared trans-identified offspring. Oh, excuse me, that is a very uncomfortable sentence. They are not unbiased, it is relevant information for onlookers. Oh, funny that the people who have actually opened their mind up to trans people and people being transgender and the transitioning process and have had it humanized to them by seeing a child go through this. Oh, how strange that they can recognize transphobia and that they are trans accepting. I know not every parent of a trans kid is accepting. It must be exhausting to have such a negative and pessimistic view of the world and be like, you only think this thing that I think is fake, transphobia, is real because you have a trans kid and you're incredibly biased. Rather than saying, oh, you have a trans kid, maybe this has shown you compassion towards a marginalised group within society, and that's why you are able to recognise the very real thing of transphobia. And like that sentence of undeclared trans-identified offspring is truly disgusting and horrific. People with trans kids have nothing to declare. It's not their place to out their child as being trans. I'm sure this person, that they said they're a proud parent of a trans son, I'm sure that they have permission from their trans son to say that. Uncomfortable. And does this mean that we can never fight for the rights of the group that we're part of because we're biased? Or the group that we're very close to, or that we have a family member within who we love and support and accept? Oh no, you can't fight for their equal rights because you're biased. He, him, she, her, non-binary, only arse-slickers, attention-seekers, and sheep use pronouns. I've never heard non-binary being referred to as a pronoun. And they're messing kids' heads up and encouraging them to be gay. This is actually a very different thing to what I've heard, because I've heard from transphobes that they're trying to call trans people homophobic and not letting people just be gay and making them transition so they're straight, which is very not true. But this person thinks that pronouns are encouraging people to become gay. Sheep use pronouns. If sheep can use pronouns, then why do transphobes find it so difficult? Virgin Atlantic lets male pilots and crew wear skirts to express their true identity. I feel like that title is not accurately reflective. Like, male pilots and crew wear skirts to express their true identity from the Telegraph. It's a great thing that Virgin did. I just don't think this title accurately encapsulates the sentiment behind it and the whole like express their true identity. Anyway, I think it's a wonderful thing that Virgin have done. They're a very progressive airline. I support Virgin Atlantic. Somebody quote retweeted this saying, "Sex is binary and dress codes should reflect this biological reality and social need. Men wear trousers and women wear skirts." I mean, tell that throughout history and throughout all the different cultures where there is not this kind of Western standard of dress code of like trousers for this gender and trousers are masculine and skirts for this gender and skirts are feminine. Any clothes are for any body, literally. Okay? If you think that people who are assigned male at birth always wear trousers and who are assigned female at birth always wear skirts, for your whole, like, dress code should reflect biological reality, it's never happened. Moaning about one airline making this part of their policy so they're more inclusive literally does nothing. You would have to moan about a million other things. Oh, no, it's just so stupid. Just to confirm, Tala isn't trans, they are an alien. Oh my God, did you hear this whole mess about the library mascot that was non-binary because they're an alien and they use gender-neutral pronouns? Like, people were, I say people, like 2 people were really annoyed about it and caused a whole hoo-ha that made it into the news, and it was just ridiculous because Tala is an alien library mascot. Why is your concern over the pronouns they use? You shouldn't have any concern over it. The parent who messaged me told me she was told Tala is non-binary and uses they them pronouns. These are true things. Tala is a storytelling alien from outer space, so neither male nor female. I think somebody is anthropomorphizing Tala. That's the right word, isn't it? Not a vagina owner, not a menstruator, not cisgender, not a cervix haver, not a chest feeder. We are women. Keep prison single sex. XX. It seems like a kiss. Oh, keep prison single sex, please. Kiss, kiss. So, if they're not cisgender, then they're transgender. So is this a trans woman holding this sign? I mean, I know it's not a trans woman, but that's just how it reads to me, seriously. You're a woman, but you don't have a vagina, you don't menstruate, you're not cis, you don't have a cervix. You're a trans woman? Like, that's how it reads. But also, these things like menstruator and vagina owner, I've not heard vagina owner being a term used, but like a person with a vagina, It's literally used in contexts where we need to use inclusive language and include everybody, like trans men and AFAB non-binary people, particularly in things like medical settings, and be like, okay, everybody who has a cervix, so people with cervixes, you need to get this particular test done. But then on an individual level, if you are a cisgender woman, or if you identify as a woman, and you go in, they're not going to call you a cervix haver. You will be referred to as a woman. There's no erasure of women going on. There is just inclusion and an understanding now. It's not just women that have an experience the things on this list. And it's only used where it's contextually relevant. And even then, it's very hit and miss. If you're feeling erased by inclusive language, try being the people that need the inclusive language that is so rarely used. That's when you'll feel erased. I feel panicked when I imagine forever living with the bad perm, boyfriend, Thunderbird drinking habit I had when I was 16. The idea of replacing those with testosterone and a mastectomy makes me want to run screaming from my own existence. It's horrifying in every way. Well then surely you should understand what it feels like to have dysphoria. If you can appreciate that having those things done and having a body based on being on testosterone and having a mastectomy would make you want to run screaming from your own existence, then maybe that would elicit some compassion for trans people experiencing gender dysphoria. Just because testosterone and a mastectomy was not what you should have done and isn't right for you doesn't mean it's not right for everybody that does it and needs it. It was definitely right for me. The idea of not going on testosterone and not having a mastectomy makes me want to run screaming from my own existence. But instead of eliciting compassion, this is a call for like, so let's not let people transition. Okay, this next one. I don't know if you saw this. This is like a Twitter shitstorm over somebody who I don't know if they're a detransitioner, but somebody who is unhappy in some way with their transition. I don't know what pronouns they use, so I'm going to use neutral pronouns for now unless it gets revealed because I've not read the whole tweet thread yet. But basically, somebody who I believe was assigned female at birth and transitioned as a teenager, taken testosterone, things like that, is not happy. And they tweeted about it. And this is what they had to say. Just for some perspective, this is what almost 5 years of hormones does to a teenage girl. Remember, I'm 21. So he probably started testosterone around a similar age as me. And I'm just like, remember, this is what 11 years of testosterone does to me, who is not a girl, but a trans man. Ta-da! And then a follow-up tweet they had in a thread was, I know, I'm 21, I have my whole life ahead of me, etc., but I think things are too far gone to switch back. It's less about how I feel and more about how others feel. I am not about to subject women to the same discomfort trans women are subjecting them to. Oof. Ooh, but like that's horrible. Like, I'm sorry if this was the wrong thing for you to do. It's very rare that that happens, like incredibly rare. I am sorry that happened to you. You do deserve compassion and support for what you've gone through and support going forward. But how dare you throw trans women under the bus? That is inappropriate and not right. Transitioning wasn't right for you, but that does not mean you can turn around and be transphobic and be an asshole to all and the vast majority of people where transitioning is right for them. There's an under 1% regret rate for transitioning. That is one of the lowest regret rates of any medical procedure. Quite a lot of medical procedures have like a 40% regret rate. So we're talking under 1% and people get all fussy about it. Seriously? And basically, with this same person, a big part of what they were talking about was the fact that they started balding and they were like, testosterone made me lose my hair, and that can happen. That testosterone is the hormone that makes you lose your hair. And some people will lose hair, some people won't. It depends on genetics, right? And that was a big part of what they were talking about. And then they shared, well, I'm not happy about going bald, but that started before I transitioned. So I think it might have been inevitable. Gotta love PCOS. PCOS is not the nicest thing to have, but like they were complaining that they were uncomfortable because they were going bald and they went bald on testosterone. But then they came out and said, oh no, but that was happening anyway. Like, was it testosterone or was it already gonna happen? Just confusing. Why does @Jules want to intimidate women attending a feminist conference in Cardiff? Shame on you. And there is a trans flag in a shop window. @Jules Clothing, why is your store in Cardiff attempting to intimidate women attending a feminism conference? Is it usual for your company to fly political flags such as this? It's being discussed over on Mumsnet at the moment. You know, the women who buy your clothes. Thank you, Jules Clothing, for supporting trans people. Unfortunately, trans identities, trans people, trans bodies, trans rights are all very, very politicised, but saying like fly a political flag such as this. They're flying a flag to show support for a minority group within society who faces a high amount of discrimination and literally does not negatively impact anybody else's life. People are making this a problem for themselves when it isn't. You are going out of your way to be upset about something that isn't there to upset you, isn't there for you, has no impact on your life. It's very confusing why it annoys you. That was the last one? That was? Good. And that's it for all the transphobes not being okay. I know transphobia is never nice, and I know even when it's misguided and when it's illogical, when it doesn't make sense, and when it's coming from a place of just like, what the heck are you on about? It can still be hurtful. I hope this video wasn't too difficult to watch. I hope that me going over some of the things that have maybe been on Twitter and going around and doing the rounds, I lost my sentence, can help a bit. But seriously, I know transphobes are shouting louder and louder. I think it's because they're becoming a smaller and smaller minority and they're having to shout louder to even be heard. I know it's difficult. I know that in the UK as well, we have a bad government. In other countries, shitty stuff is happening to trans people, but I do think we're going to come out the other side of it eventually. It's just going to be a bit of a rough road, and seriously, transphobia and transphobic arguments and transphobic people are just making less and less sense, which is funny to look at. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Think about giving it a thumbs up and subscribing if you want to, but no pressure if you don't. And remember, don't be a dick. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Much love. Bye.